How are we? How are we? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. It is Game Week 27. We have a mid-week round of fixtures, and the big debate of the week, of course, is what we're going to do with the captaincy. We will go through all of that. We will answer all of your questions in today's stream. We have just under 2 hours until the 6 p.m. deadline. It is slightly earlier than normal. It's normally 6:30, sometimes 6:15, very rarely as early as 6 o'clock. But if you are in, you are all fully aware of that. Regardless. Before we do all of that, say hello in the chat. Let me know what you're up to. What are you doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Are you watching from work? What are you up to? Let me know. I've got my fluids. I'm trying to drink a little bit more water. So I've got a big litre bottle of water, which goes in the fridge every day and gets a little bit of juice put in it. Makes it much easier. And also, I got given, right? So I'm on a cup of coffee today for today's stream. I got given a salted caramel oat milk the other day by someone, and I haven't used it yet. I haven't even tried it. So this is going to be my first little taste test for you. It's honestly, what do we have? What don't we do on this channel? Tastes pretty regular. How much am I meant to drink in a day? Someone says 4 litres of water. 4 litres? Does that include hot drinks? I'm probably at 3. Now. I used to be much less. 2 to 3 litres. 3 litres. Is 3 litres? No. I don't just drink one of these a day. 2 litres of water that isn't cold. 8 pints, 2. 3 litres. Does this metric include other drinks? Like, does it include a cup of tea and a cup of coffee? Or is that only water? Please let me know. But let's say hello to some of you in the chat first. Hello to FPL Lucho. Hello to Rory. Hello to Ben. Hello to Ankit. Hello to all the members who joined before the stream had started as well. Hello to Callum. Hello to Ozspike, PS1, Immortal, Chimarese, Ozspike. All the members in and moderators, thank you all very much for your support. Hello to everyone else as well. Bruno, Beardy, John, Rumi, Jamie, Thomas, David, Near, Matthew, Andrew, Tom, Pete, Chelsea, Ayan, Ali, Mohammed, Fayad, I apologise. Ishan, Ethan, BL, Two-Eyed Pebble, Hassam, Merck. I love some of the names that some of you come up with. Andy B and Chris B, Hader, Joe, Hind, Mr. Was Up, SAE, Jim Talks FPL, Jake, Ruben, Ryan, hello, Reese, Mohammed, Mika, Rodrigo, and Princeem. Hello to you all and hello to everyone else. Before we get in, if you could drop a like on the stream, that would be fantastic. 1,000 of you already in. So welcome very much to the stream. And yeah, if you could like, and if you are new, please do subscribe to the channel. We also already have a captaincy poll up and running. Salah is at 56%, 36% on Palmer, 8% on I cannot decide. It feels a pretty difficult one. Home early from work. I remember when I used to do this alongside working, Tuesday deadlines used to be a nightmare because that's what a 4 p.m. UK time start to a stream, maybe 4:30. And it's pretty difficult to clock off at 4:30 when you're meant to be fully employed. But here we are. And I thank you all for joining, whether you are at work or you're in a different time zone and things work out much better for you when it's during the week. I saw the the guys on FPL Wire had a screenshot of their team, of their fixtures for this week. And it had the kickoffs were all like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I was like, God, we take it for granted in this country. You know, it's a UK team, but trying to play FPL for them when they wake up in the morning and they have to check the results that way, I was like, I didn't even think about that. And then it's the same for some of you. Midnight in Perth, exactly. So yeah. What swayed you on starting Wood? I mean, I've got Ahmad, right? I've got Ahmad in my starting 11 at the moment. So, yeah, it doesn't really make much of a difference to me in terms of my starting 11. I've also got Fabianski in my starting 11. I'm probably going to start him in the off case that Areola misses out for whatever reason. But I don't expect him to. I expect I'll get Pickford and I'll definitely get Kluivert in off the bench because, of course, Ahmad is injured. Am I sticking with Palmer? Am I going to stick with Palmer? We'll talk about captaincy in just a moment. In the top right-hand corner, we'll, of course, have all the best players to buy. So if you're looking for goalkeepers, we have them ranked. If you're looking for defenders, we have that. If you're having midfielders, we'll do a lot of talking, I imagine, about recommending Jared Bowen and Ryan Aït-Nouri this week. If you're looking for forwards, they are up there, and Matheus Cunha will be the most likely forward I recommend. If you don't have money for Matheus Cunha, then you're probably looking at Beto. Of course, Mateta is one you can look at, but he blanks in game week 29. Same with Munoz in defense. We have the start bench ranking in there as well. So Alexander Isak is number 1. I would start him. He just seems unstoppable. And I would bench Mykolenko. And everyone in between is ranked, right? So you start Isak over Mateta. You start Mateta over Visa. Visa over Pedro, etc., etc. They're all numbered from 1 to 17. Where would I put Nwaneri? I'd probably start Gakpo over Nwaneri, so I'd put him quite low down the list. Munoz isn't on the benching rank, I don't think. Him and Trent are just automatic starts if you own them this week. Oh, you bought Bowen and Aït-Nouri. Look at you. I didn't even need the rankings, Adam. And look, they're right up there. 2 good moves. Probably the best defender and best midfielder to buy for the next few weeks, I would say. Everyone shouts at me because I always leave Raul Jimenez out of my benching ranking. In my final decisions video, you get an extended list. On the stream, you only get the top 17 because I don't have space. I mean, Jimenez would probably go below Gakpo as well. Harry, how am I planning to get 1.5 million for Eddie Howe in game week 31 if I play my assistant manager? Well, Watkins will likely not be in my team by then, and he's pretty expensive. If not, it will be Trent or Gabriel that will probably go. You don't see Cunha in the list because if you own Cunha, he's a definite start. Does it still? I changed it. I went through and changed everything. I changed the captaincy background and I had Palmer in at number 1. Apologies. Let's do captaincy. Vote in the poll if you haven't already on captaincy. Thank you very much for pointing that out, James. I appreciate it. Salah is slightly more captained. Adam, you know it. You know it. Twice. 2 times. 2 times. I feel like I haven't done it for a while. So, captaincy. I was actually going to build a... let me see if I can find one. Let's see if I can... If you give me 1 sec. We'll try and build a pros and cons of how on earth do I do this? Can I draw? Here we go. This is going to be fun. That wasn't a straight line, was it? How do I undo that? Ah, well. This is just not going to end well, is it? How do I get rid of this? What? This is not going well. Right. Hang on. Palmer. Salah. Oh, one's capitals, one's not. Salah. Oh, I can move these. Oh, yeah, that's not straight, that one. What? I hope you're all having an excellent time, because I definitely am. Right. Easy. Easy peasy. Right. Draw. Positives and negatives, right? No, get this out the way. Right, so. Positives of Palmer. Fixture. Southampton injuries. Right? I feel like this is not worth. Yeah, a little SWOT analysis. You see? Positives of Salah. Best player in the league. Positives of Salah. Best FPL asset. Negatives. This is not really going to be worth our time, but I hope you're all enjoying. Worse fixture. Zayed, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, better team for Salah. Thank you very much for your super chat. Salah, best team. Chelsea, poor form. Chelsea, injuries. So I'm really glad I spent so long doing that just for this much to put in all of the boxes. But this is where we're at, right? The only negative of Salah is the worst fixture. Salah has all the positives and Palmer has all the negatives apart from the fixture. Zayed, thank you for the super chat. So that's basically where we're at. Don't know quite why I spent so long doing that. But basically, you think it's great. Well, it doesn't look like I spent long. Well, that's good. So the first thing to say, if you are chasing rank, I would definitely go Palmer. I think it's an opportunity to go against what a lot of people will do. Still expect Salah to be the most highly captained player. Yeah, if we could just cut that bit out, that'd be good. So Salah will be the most highly captained. So if you're chasing, Palmer's great. And I wouldn't even consider it. I would consider going Salah. But if you're chasing, I think this is a very good opportunity to go against Salah. When you are playing a Newcastle team who are very good at beating the top teams. We've seen them against Arsenal so far this season as well. We've seen them frustrate against Liverpool already so far this season as well. So if you're chasing, I think it's easy. I think if you're chasing, it's easy. If you're not chasing, it's when there's a bit more of a debate, because Palmer is definitely the safe option. There'll be the higher captaincy percentage this week. So if it goes wrong, you'll lose less captaining Palmer than you will if you you'll lose less captaining Salah than if you do captaining Palmer. Southampton without Bednarek might be having Harwood Bellis back. Uga Chukwu can't play in their midfield. Tonali also being back. And Eddie Howe saying Tonali should be ready to start. Yeah. Is a big thing, I think, as well. There have been slight changes in the bench ranking. Chris Wood has gone higher up the ranking than he was before. It's basically, I've put him above the Bournemouth mids and above Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, I've moved Chris Wood up a little bit from where he was in the video this morning. I just looked at it and think, if I had Chris Wood in my team, and if I had Enzo in over Ahmad, Chris Wood wouldn't be the one I'd bench. Adam, I used to use Canva. Don't use it anymore. I could do it on Photoshop quicker, probably, but I know it would look better. But it's not online. I moved Dango up. Did I? I think Dango's similar to where he was. Maybe he's above Semenyo now, because I just think Dango will play. He'll play up front, but Dango's not a buy. It's probably where we're at. So, going back to captaincy, yeah, if you're chasing, it's Palmer for me. If you're not chasing, it's a really close call. I just look at the fixture and think, surely Chelsea have got to bounce back at some point. They're predicted to score more goals. Palmer predicted to score more points. I'm hoping that Newcastle can do a little bit of a job against Liverpool, but maybe they won't want to give up all of their tricks of the trade because they've got the Carabao Cup final against them in a couple of weeks. I think they'd rather lose this game than give up their best way of stopping Liverpool, but maybe they'll want to use things as a test. How do we stop Liverpool? And we're going to test it this fixture. Maybe he won't think about it too much like that. In terms of what I would class as chasing rank, I mean, 50 points? No, less than that. Maybe I think it's a good opportunity. Like if you're more than 25 points behind, I would definitely captain Palmer. If you're less than 25 points behind, then it's when it's a decision. You can still captain Palmer even if you're not chasing. It's just less obvious, I think, if you're in that situation. Yeah. I just look at Southampton at home. I don't know. 120k ranked third in your mini league. If you're in my shoes, Salah or Palmer? Probably Palmer. Again, it depends what your rank goal is, right? Like 120k, but if your rank goal is 100k, then maybe Salah. But if your rank K is top 10k, then yeah. What changed? So the Newcastle press conference today of Tonali being back. Southampton without Bednarek. Southampton without Howard Bellis, and someone correctly pointing out that Ugachukwu can't play as well. So there are a few things going on there. I'm not chasing, so why Palmer? Because if you're chasing, it's definitely Palmer. If you're not chasing, it's close. It doesn't mean if you're not chasing, you should definitely go Salah. You're ranked 830k. Can I still finish top 10k? Absolutely. You could still win the game, Adam. If you'd like. I am going to start Fabianski. I don't expect him to play. I expect to get Pickford off the bench, but the plan this week was always to play Fabianski, and in theory was always to play Ahmad as well. Palmer could be at the 9 today. It's possible. I don't think it will be, though. It could be Palmer 9 and Kunku 10, Neto left, and whoever are the available winger, Sancho. Neto right, Sancho left. Watkins for Cunha for free. So I have considered Watkins to Cunha this week. I do want to see the outcome of the FA Cup before I go and buy some more players. The reason for that for me is I might not wildcard until after the doubles in Game Week 33. Like I'm looking at a Game Week 35 wildcard, and I've spoken about this a little bit. And the forward that I buy in that spot, I don't really want to have to sell between now and 33. So I want to see how the FA Cup goes before I make that transfer. It's likely to be Haaland, it's likely to be Marmoush, or it's likely to be Matej Cunha. I would say Cunha is the most likely, but yeah, I just want to leave it just a little bit. And I don't think Watkins is a bad punt this week. I would definitely prefer Cunha to Watkins this week. Which forward will I sell in 29? I will keep Isak and I will sell Watkins, is the plan. Watkins, of course, blanks as well. He'll get Palace away, maybe Brentford next week. Yeah. If Wolves look like they're going to double in Game Week 33, I might just do Watkins to Cunha early. But Watkins up again, because the other thing is Villa have Champions League before and after the Brentford game, which isn't ideal. Like, we know Villa tend to be a little bit sluggish in that game. So I might sell him going into 28. Like, if I get if I know I'm going to go Cunha, I'll probably buy him then. I probably wouldn't buy Marmoush though. So if my plan is a City forward, I'd keep Watkins. If my plan is Cunha, I'll probably buy him next week. Yeah, I have changed my mind on captaincy. The Newcastle press conference with Tonali being back and available to start. Seeing the Southampton predicted lineups today as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm not ruling out that I move it back. I'm not ruling out that I might move it back. If I'm 700k, is top 20k, 100k realistic? Yes. 700k to 100k in chip season is definitely realistic. What takes you to do Wood over Kluivert? So Kluivert's reduced minutes over the past couple of games. Has definitely made him less reliable than he was before. Same with some of the others. They've got a lot of players returning from injury. His minutes are definitely less than Chris Wood. Arsenal just look a bit average at the moment. So, and Brighton have got much better, is the other thing. Would I buy Wood or Marmoush? I'd probably buy Chris Wood. If you've got Colwell, I'd start him over pretty much every defender if you've got him. Yeah. If you've gone with a Chelsea defender, you have to start them. Do I think it's a good idea to wildcard? I would say, so I tweeted about this today. I reckon game week 27 this week is the worst week left of the season to play a wildcard. To go the final 12 weeks of the season without a wildcard is difficult enough. To do it the week before the round of the FA Cup that will make 33 to 36 much clearer, I wouldn't be playing a wildcard this week. If you're in a position where you're really struggling, you have a few options. Wildcard 28. Or you wait and you go wildcard 30, 31. Bench Van Dijk or Gabriel. I'd play Gabriel over Van Dijk. Particularly, I imagine you've got Cunha, you've got Isak as well. You might have Chris Wood as well, to be fair. So, if I was on assistant manager this week, number one would probably be the Wolves manager. Number two would probably be Glasner. Number three would probably be Ange. Number four would then probably be Maresca. I think I'd go Wolves, Palace, Spurs, Chelsea in that order. It could be Glasner number one. Their away record is actually better than their home record, though. Start one of Castagna, Mikalenko, or Greaves to Ryan Aït-Nouri. I really like the Greaves to Ryan Aït-Nouri move for a lot of people this week. I don't need it because I will need to sell Trent in 29, but I don't need a defender this week. If you don't have a Munoz, you don't have a good third defender, Greaves to Aït-Nouri is a transfer I really like for a lot of people this week. It's good this week at home to Fulham. It's good next week at home to Everton. It's good in the blank away at Southampton. And then they have West Ham at home in game week 30. They have 5, because they play Ipswich the week after. They have a fantastic run of games. If I was buying a defender now, I would definitely buy Aït-Nouri over a Bournemouth defender. One of the other reasons to not buy a Bournemouth defender is Zabani is now suspended for 2 Premier League games, 3 games in total, but 1 is the FA Cup. So he'll miss game week 27 and he'll miss game week 28, which means the Bournemouth defender just naturally gets weaker. So As a result, that's why Eight Nori is now my top defender that I would be buying if I was in your position. Why not free hit 29? So I've been asked this a couple of times. Let me get FPL.team up. I've got to log in. There we go. So this is why I don't like free hit 29. If you look at the predictions for the game weeks, right, you'll notice that 29 has a blank. One thing to note, a lot of the teams you look to invest in for 29, which will be probably Man City, it will probably be Bournemouth, and it will probably be Wolves, and maybe West Ham, and maybe Forest. All of them have good fixtures the week after, right? Wolves then play West Ham at home. Forest play United at home. West Ham play Wolves. Bournemouth play Ipswich at home. And Man City play Leicester. So first thing, if you're free hitting 29, you're going to buy all these players for 1 week and then not have them the week after when they all have really good fixtures. The other thing for me is game week 33 is predicted to be the doubles that come out of game week 34. So game week 33 teams will double. The same teams are then predicted to blank a week later. So to try and get lots of doublers in 33 and then get into game week 34 without having to play a chip is really is quite difficult to do. You basically can't unless you save up loads of transfers. So I much prefer the free hit in 34. So you can go big on the doublers in 33, not worry about 34. And I do think that planning for 29 and then into 30 is a better strategy for a lot of people. Of course, if you're in a position where you've gone Mateta, you've got Munoz, like let's say you've got Rodgers, you've got Salah, Trent, you've got Gakpo, you've got a few more in there, then I don't mind it so much. And maybe you've got Henderson in goal as well, right? I don't mind it if it fits your team. But if it's pretty close between the two and your team is fine, I would try and not free hit in game week 29. You can't free hit an assistant manager. You can't play 2 chips in the same week. And you can't play a chip in any of the 3 weeks the assistant manager is active. -4 for Bowen. I would do Rodgers to Bowen for a -4. If you're going to have to start Rodgers. Yeah. Is Fabianski starting? We don't think so. But I'm going to play him in the very small 1 to 5% chance that he starts. A few people asking about chip strategy in the stream. So we are going to do chip strategy. We're going to do a whole video on it after the FA Cup at the weekend. So I think the draw is on Sunday evening, but there is the Forest game on Forest Ipswich on Monday night will have an impact on people's chip strategies because it will impact the predictions for the double in 33. So then on Tuesday, I will record a chip strategy video. Wednesday, you'll get it. Thursday, team selection. Friday, final decision. So I think Wednesday next week, you will get a updated chip strategy video. Don't think I'll do it in time for it to be Tuesday. I'll probably do transfer targets Tuesday, chip strategy Wednesday, and so on, and back to normal on Thursday. Start Kepa or Pickford? Probably Kepa. Milenkovic, Konate, or a Bournemouth defender. To start this week, if it's Kirkes, I do Kirkes. If not, probably Milenkovic. If I'm buying one, I'm buying Eight Nori. Eight Nori remains my recommendation to buy. My top recommendations to buy are Eight Nori, Bowen, Cunha across the 3 positions. If you're looking for a goalkeeper, I do think Areola and Jose Sa are interesting at their very cheap price because you could do Fabianski to Areola or Fabianski to Jose Sa very easily. And they're only 4.2 and 4.3. And they both have really nice fixtures over the next few weeks. Until you're probably going to play your wild card. So those two are definitely worth looking at. If you've got Henderson, for example, you could do one of the others to like Areola, play Areola this week. Yeah. Castagna, Mikalenko, Olorayina. I'd bench Mikalenko as per the ranking. Castagna's not in it, but he goes in with Robinson. And then, what was the other one? Wood versus Rodgers. Yeah, that's in the ranking as well. I'd go Wood over Rodgers. Rodgers, I'm not certain he starts, so anything to not play him this week. If you're not free hitting 29 and you want to sell Rodgers for a hit to Bowen, I'm all for it. I don't think Fabianski will play. I might just swap it back just for now, just because I'll get loads of questions, but... And then I just won't save it. Am I planning on you moving Pickford before I wildcard? If I plan to, I probably won't do it in 30 because there's a small chance I do still wildcard in 31. If I get to 31 and I'm not wildcarding, I will probably sell Pickford because the fixtures are not good. Adam, I'm not saving it. Don't worry, they'll be back there. I just don't want to. I don't need to answer the Fabianski question for it. Who will be in my game week 29 team? So I'll sell Trent. I'll sell Watkins. I'll sell Ahmad. I'll probably go Aït-Nouri or Kirkes, depending on the predicted double. I'll probably go Cunha or Marmoush, depending on the predicted double. And then the midfielder will depend. I could go Haaland if I want to sell Palmer. I could change Greaves as well. Like, I'm not ruling out that I do Greaves and Trent to Kirkes and Aït-Nouri in 29 because I'll probably have to play them both. I probably have to play them both. If you're going to bench boost 33, you're going to wildcard 31, I imagine. Pickford or Henderson? I'd probably take Henderson at home. Rodgers to who for a -4? You have Kluivert. If you can't afford Bowen, then it's probably not worth a hit. I mean, Kudus, but I just don't think you'd want Kudus long term. Like, I think after this week, you'd be happy to hold Bowen. When game week 28 resets and you've got Kudus, I don't think you'll be particularly happy with that. Bench one of Kluivert, Wood, Gakpo, and Dango. I'd probably bench Gakpo out of those. Rodgers to Neto, 0.1 million short from Bowen. I'd rather do something to afford Bowen. I don't like the Neto punt, personally. If I had to go for a Chelsea player, it would be Neto, but I personally wouldn't do it. Why start João Pedro over Dango? I mean, João Pedro is expected to start. We don't think Danny Welbeck will be back available to start for Bournemouth in this game. So João Pedro is predicted to start. So he's also on penalties as well. Brighton have been pretty good recently. So Pedro, there's a lot of close to benching rankings this week. Trent or Aït-Nouri? To start, Trent. To buy Aït-Nouri. If I had Bowen for Ahmad, who would I bench? Probably Chris Wood or Kluivert. Or what? No, probably Kluivert. Probably Kluivert. Why is no one talking about Matoma? The reason no one's talking about Matoma partly is that the time to buy Brighton was the Southampton fixture last week. If you didn't buy Brighton last week, you've probably missed it a little bit because the fixtures are okay. They're not quite as good, and they play City in the blank is the only bad thing. I don't mind it at all. If you can't go to Bowen and you've already got Kluivert, he's probably up there into that bracket of one that I would go to have a look at. Think you're going to risk it for a chocolate biscuit? You're going Palmer. How am I going to navigate 34 if I wildcard 31, assistant manager 32, 33, 34? I won't do that. I'll assistant manager or wildcard in 31. If I wildcard 31, I'll assistant manager at the end of the season and I'll bench boost 33. It depends how the FA Cup goes, basically, and where the predicted doubles fall. We'll talk about all of that after the FA Cup at the weekend, because there's a lot of if, buts and maybes at the moment, and things will become much clearer. And we'll get percentage chances of blanks and doubles after this and after the draw as well. This is the final, not the final round, but this draw will give us percentage chances, because then we know who they have to beat to blank in 34. You have Aina over Robinson. Does that mean I should start Necker Williams over Robinson? I probably would, yeah. Yeah. You're down 100 in your mini league. You're most certain the top 5 will go Palmer. If you're in a mini league and you think everyone captains Palmer and you're chasing, then yeah, go Salah. In that situation. Isak to Cunha, Rodgers to Bowen for a -4. I don't think I'd sell Isak as part of a -4, even if it's to get Bowen. So no. Play Hall or Greaves, playing Munoz and Van Dijk. Can you do Greaves to 8 Nori, even if it's for a hit? I'd prefer that, or 8 Nori to in for Hall. But Greaves to 8 Nori is a transfer I would do if you've got money. If I had to pick Hall or Greaves, I'd play Hall. Bench Konate or Howson? I'd bench Howson. Or sell Hall for 8 Nori. I probably would do Hall to 8 Nori if you're not free hitting 29, if it benefits you in 29. This salted caramel oat milk is incredibly disappointing. I thought it was going to be so I don't know really what I expected. It tastes as I expected it to, but I'm enjoying it much less than I expected to. It's a bit shame. -4 for 8 Nori is stupid. Potentially, but there is reason. There is method to my madness with that transfer. And let me show you why. So, if you buy 8 Nori this week for a hit, right? Presumably it makes your defense better this week. You also get him at home to Everton next week. And if you look at the fixtures next week, chances are in 28 he'll be better than a lot of your defenders. Bournemouth are away at Spurs. Newcastle are away at West Ham. Arsenal are away at United. Liverpool have Southampton, which is good. Palace have Ipswich, which is good. Fulham away at Brighton. Forest play City. Brentford play Villa. Not that many great defensive fixtures. So I would imagine that 8 Nori at home to Everton is also an improvement for you next week. Game week 29. Southampton away. It gets you an extra fixture most likely in 29. Of course, if you've already got enough defenders in 29, then maybe you don't consider it. But it gets you an extra fixture then. Game week 30, West Ham at home. Bournemouth have Ipswich at home. That's quite good. Palace have Southampton away. Liverpool have Everton at home. And Arsenal have Fulham at home. There are a lot of good defences in 30, but it might help. And then in game week 31, they also have Ipswich away. And the fixtures that week are not quite as good. I just think it's worth considering if it helps you over future weeks. You do rely on attacking returns. I would say Wolves have been quite improved over the past, since they've got their new manager. You do rely on attacking returns, but you rely on attacking returns with, like Munoz, generally you rely on attacking returns. With Robinson, you're relying on attacking returns. With Kirkes, you're doing the same. You're surprised I don't do Ahmad to Enzo? There's no chance. I wouldn't buy Enzo. I wouldn't recommend anyone to buy Enzo this week. If you've held him this long, you can take a punt on it. But we may well go back to a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, my front three are all playing against my back three. It's great. It really is great, isn't it? And then make it worse, Pickford goes against Mbermo. Wood against... Do you think I can line them up? I don't want to mess around with it. I'm going to leave it. But Wood against Gabriel. Watkins against Munoz. And Isak against Trent. You can't buy membership in Australia. It might... I don't know. I don't know the answer. There are some countries you can't. The easy way to sort it is just a VPN. You can't do it on mobile anyway. You have to be on desktop. But I don't imagine Australia is somewhere you can't, but maybe I'm wrong. Is it worth transferring Robinson out to Munoz Kukurea when you have good cover? Current defender of Gabriel Kirkes, Robinson, Trent, Mikalenko. No, I just bench Robinson. Robinson over Kirkes probably. I don't think I'd do that with your defence. Would I do Clivert to Bowen for a hit? No. I wouldn't. No. Start Konate, Van Heck, or Mazraoui. I'd probably chance it on Mazraoui if I'm honest. Defenders are Milenkovic, Robinson, House, and Konate, and Milenkovic. Which 3 to buy, please? Or play, I imagine. Robinson, House, and Konate, and... I don't love any of them. You keep that, you keep that, you keep that. Probably keep that. Robinson's probably the one I'd probably would look at doing Robinson to 8 Nori. Your defense doesn't look particularly strong this week, Damo. I'd play Milenkovic, I'd play Konate, and I'd play Robinson probably. Wanyeri, Savino, and Chris Wood. I'd probably bench Wanyeri. I don't mind Wanyeri. He's just the easy sacrifice in a lot of situations. What to do with Dango Atara? Dango Atara to Bowen for free. I would do Dango Atara to Bowen probably for free. I wouldn't panic on Dango though. He should play up front this game. He should start 28 and 29. It might just not be up front in those games if Evan Nilsson comes back on. But the other thing to know is Evan Nilsson's unlikely to play 90. In which case Dango will get some minutes up front in all of those games. And it might be late on in games which are against tired defences. If you've bought Dango for the blank, you hold Dango for the blank. You don't move it. Unless you want to go to Bowen. Probably. Will I be buying 8 Nori before 29? It depends if they win in the FA Cup. If they win in the FA Cup, I may well buy 8 Nori and I won't buy Kirkes. If I buy, if Bournemouth win in the Cup, I'll probably buy Kirkes and not 8 Nori. Some players from Spurs, I personally wouldn't buy any Spurs players. I'm not at that point yet. I don't love Spurs still. Like buying at home to City, yeah, like it's okay, but Kulu's the only one I'd ever recommend buying. And Slanky when he's fit, but he's not. Is this my full-time job? It is. It is. I hope you're all enjoying. If you are enjoying, please do drop a like on the stream. There are 4,500 you in and 400 likes, which means 4,000 of you haven't liked the stream. So drop a like if you haven't. And subscribe if you're new around here as well. Can I explain the FA Cup results and can you explain the FA Cup results and what they mean for your team? DB85, thoughts on Rodgers to Bruno, not free hit 29. I'd prefer Bowen, but I don't hate the Bruno move. So, there is a round of FA Cup between Game Week 27 and Game Week 28. There is a round of FA Cup between Game Week 29 and 30. And then there is a round of FA Cup that clashes with 34. So between this round, once we get the draw for the round that happens between 29 and 30, that we know the outcome of those matches will cause the blanks in 34. So we will have the fixtures that are going to happen. So we will be able to see if Bournemouth get drawn away at Manchester City, we'll be able to be like, well, chances are they might not blank in game week 34 as a result. If Wolves beat Bournemouth and then get Preston at home or Cardiff at home, the chances of Wolves blanking in game week 33 will go up, and them doubling in game week 34. Blanking in 34 will then go down. That didn't make any sense. Basically, once we get the draw for the fixtures that happen between 29 and 30, we'll have a much better understanding of who's likely to double in 33 and who's likely to blank in 34. Basically. Bench 2, Wood, Cunha, Dango, Kluivert, Gabriel, Castagna. I'd play Gabriel over Castagna, and I'd probably bench Dango. Play Dango or Elanga. I do think they'll be spaced in behind for Elanga, but I'd probably play Dango. Majed, no worries. Start Saar or Kluivert. Kluivert. Bench 1 of Kluivert or Isak. I'd play Isak over pretty much everyone. Why did I change my captaincy? Look. I changed it for a few reasons. So today, I saw the Southampton press conference. I also saw a few updates from Maresca. I also saw Eddie Howe's press conference that Tonali is back. So I just went with a few things and it's now on Palmer. I'm not ruling out that I move it. I don't feel entirely comfortable. I've also moved the pricey tweet was the clincher. It did help. It did help push me over the line, I can't lie. Enzo moved down a little bit. Because I'm not guaranteeing we play the same formation Chelsea as we did last week. And if we don't and Enzo suddenly plays deeper, he's not as good. So if we get the lineup and if he's playing further forward, you want Enzo. If he's not, then you don't. So you're basically trying to predict the lineup. David, play Hall or Mikalenko to 8 Nori and bench Hall and Mikalenko. If you can do Greaves to 8 Nori and bench those two, I'd do that. Yeah. Start Beto or Semenyo. Probably Beto over Semenyo. Cunha for a -4, play Kluivert and bench Dango. If it helps you for 29, it depends who you're selling. If it's Gakpo to Cunha for a -4 to bench Dango, then I wouldn't. Dango over Cunha as Dango over Gakpo, yeah, I probably would play Dango over Gakpo. The only thing to note on a lot of these Dango versus others options is if it's your second Bournemouth midfielder. Like, if I had Kluivert and Dango, then I'd be more inclined just to say, well, I'll bench one of the Bournemouth mids because then I'm not relying too much on that Bournemouth team, if that makes sense. Because if I had, let's say I had Gakpo in place of Watkins and Kluivert and Dango, I probably would say I'd play Dango over Gakpo and Kluivert over Gakpo. But in that situation, I probably wouldn't. I probably would only play one of my Bournemouth mids and I'd play Gakpo just to sort of hedge a little bit. So... yeah. Would I assistant manager this week? No, I personally wouldn't. It could do well over the next couple of weeks on Ange, but I personally wouldn't. Do I think Slot Howe's approach could change depending on them likely to meet in the final? Arne Slot, no, because Arne Slot wants to win every game and he wants to win the Premier League much more than he wants to win the Carabao Cup. Eddie Howe probably has an eye on the Carabao Cup, maybe slightly more than Arne Slot does. Would Dango, Semenyo, bench one? Probably Semenyo. Start Beto or Dango? Probably Beto. Should I take -4 Rodgers to Bowen and then die to a 4.4 forwards? No. Because there's no 4.4 million forwards that will help you, and you shouldn't be playing with a dead spot in your front eight at the moment. I don't think I like it. What time is it? Best manager to go, Emery? No. Definitely not Emery. Bournemouth, Wolves or Spurs would be my recommendations for those on assistant manager. Gabriel or Colwill? Oh, that's really close. Probably Gabriel. The disrespect I'm giving to Gakpo is very strange and unjustified. He's a captain option this week. I don't know that. I don't know he's definitely going to start. Do we? I don't know he's definitely going to start, which would be enough to put me off when you've got a lot more reliable assets for minutes, I think. If you definitely think Gakpo starts and plays 70-80, I just think there's a doubt that he definitely does. I think he probably will. If I did a predicted lineup, he'd be in it, but his percentage chance of starting would be lower than everyone else on that list, I think. Every YouTuber captaining Palmer. I thought Ross was on Salah. I can't remember, actually. I spoke about it to him today, but I didn't actually ask the question. I said I was getting nervous on the Salah captain, and then I moved it, and I didn't ask him what he was doing. Eight Nori, Wan-Bissaka or Kukurea. If I was buying, 8 Nori. Lots of questions coming in the chat. A little reminder that we have in the top right-hand corner a fair few things that will help you out. We have my current Captaincy ranking. We have best goalkeepers to buy. We have best defenders to buy. We have best midfielders to buy. Of course, your chip strategy in 29 will impact that. Most of the lists have someone who blanks in 29 on them. Top forwards to buy. Bit of a hot topic on Salah versus Palmer, just to have a little read when it comes back. And then it has the start versus bench ranking in there as well. So there's lots of that. Thoughts on Bowen captain? He is in my captaincy ranking in at number 3. I don't mind it, but I do think there is a world of difference below Palmer and Salah to Bowen personally. Sell slot for Glasner or Pereira? Yes, I probably would do that. Are we even sure Aït-Nouri starting? He came off with a knock. I think he's fine. My update on Palmer over Salah, I'd say I'm pretty 60-40. You reckon I go back to Salah? Why would I play Wood over Kluivert? So, I just think that game is... I think that game bodes well for Forest. I also think that Bournemouth, there's been a lot of early subs with a lot of players coming back, and it's a very fast turnaround. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kluivert play 60, 70 minutes tonight. Fast turnaround puts me off. Aït-Nouri and Bowen for Greaves and Ahmad for a hit. OSR, yes, definitely. I mean, it depends what you're benching, right? But yes. Would I do Diaz to Bowen for free? Diaz to Bowen for free? Yes, I would. Do I rate Minte as a 5th mid? Feels a little bit like you wanted to buy him before Southampton. I don't hate it. He's decently cheap. I don't mind it at all. I don't think I'd buy it, though. It's not particularly exciting after Southampton. I have said a lot. If you don't... I'm not buying a player that you love this week and you're uncertain of it, I'd recommend rolling. Because even if the decision you make loses out by 4 or 5 points, the information you get from the FA Cup might... If you've watched any of Praz's content this week, he's mentioned quite a few times that if there's lots of random results in the FA Cup, it happens every year. We might Well, it doesn't happen every year because then it would be predictable. it happens some years where there's sudden results in the FA Cup which completely change chip strategy, and suddenly everyone's wildcarding or changes chip strategy and the players you want are different. If you don't need to force transfers this week, I don't think I'd do it. Like, I could easily do Watkins to Cunha this week. I would like to do Watkins to Cunha. Villa don't travel well. They don't play well when they've played loads of fixtures, but I don't know Cunha's definitely the one I want to buy. I also don't think the fixtures are good this week for many players. So, yeah, that's rant over. You just don't captain the Brem player even in his best ever season is stupid. Listen, if you'd like to captain Salah, that's absolutely fine. I may well captain Salah before the deadline. I'm not locking it in. If there's a chance to do something different that could pay off, Palmer at home Southampton might be that fixture. Definitely not guaranteed. But yeah, if you think that captaining Palmer is a stupid decision, you should, in theory, be happy that everyone's captaining Palmer, because then you'll captain Salah and it will go really, really well for you. Yeah, I think it's really close. Did the move from Rodgers to Matoma? Hope it pays off. Rodgers doesn't start. I'd be surprised if Rodgers starts. There's always a chance though. Glasner or Pereira for manager? Probably Glasner. Start Dango and Kluivert or Kluivert and Wood. In that situation, I'd go Kluivert and Wood. Yeah. Would I do Rodgers to Bowen for free? Rodgers to Bowen. Yes, I would. Palmer's not on form. Yeah. You're right. Chelsea are not on form. Palmer's not on form. And that's fine. 1 assist in 5. Data's been not great. Data's been okay. But Southampton, it's more a Southampton thing than a Palmer thing. It's a little bit of a Palmer thing for me to consider it, but then more of a Southampton thing than anything. Valdemarson to Areola this week. Yeah, I don't mind that. Areola or Jose Sarr. 2 very good cheap keepers if you need to buy one this week. Start Cunha, Wissa or Kluivert. Opinions on Bowen captain. I think Bowen captain is sizably below Salah and Palmer. Cunha, Wissa or Kluivert. I probably would bench Kluivert. If you've got Mbermo, then maybe you bench Wissa and play Kluivert to have a bit of Bournemouth because there's a lot of ownership there. But probably Kluivert. What do I think about West Ham this week? I don't mind buying into it. Bowen is a very good buy in midfield. Areola in defence. Wan-Bissaka in defence. They don't have any forwards. Do I like a punt from Rodgers to Neto? I spoke about it in my video today. I don't massively love the Chelsea punts because I don't think they're good long term. I don't mind them for this week if you've got loads of luxury transfers. But also none of those players have been particularly reliable for FPL points ever. Wissa to Cunha for free. Is there any update on Fabianski? Fabianski is likely to be on the bench, but in the off chance that something happens, we'll see. And I would not do Wissa to Cunha this week. No, that's one of the transfers that if you're uncertain on a transfer, like if you're thinking about a transfer and you're uncertain of it, I'd roll. Like Pedro to Cunha, no, I'd roll. Robinson, sorry, these are benching ones. Let's see if there's a transfer one. There's just a lot of benching ones. Rodgers to Bowen. In that situation, I'd do it, right? There are a lot of benching ones. So let's put the benching ranking back up on screen. If you are looking for benching rankings, they're up in the top right. You've got them now. I would play Cunha is an automatic start. Palmer, of course, is. Salah, of course, is. Then we've got Isak over Mateta, Mateta over Visa, Visa over Pedro, Pedro over Wood, Wood over Enzo, Enzo over Clivert, Clivert over Dango, Dango over Semenyo, Gabriel, Gakpo, Gabriel, Aina, Rogers, Robinson, Bournemouth defenders, Lewis Hall, and Mikalenko. Like Gakpo to Cunha, I mean, it helps in 29, but I'm also not sure I'd force it this week. Arteta to Maresca for free. If you went Arteta last week, I'd probably chase it this week with a table bonus manager rather than just going Maresca. Why Gabriel over Robinson? Because Arsenal defence is still not bad. I think that game's quite hard to call. But I also think Wolves score. So I don't think there'll be loads of goals in Forest Arsenal, but it's possible that if Wood scores, it's a 9-pointer, which is why I would start him. As an Arsenal fan, Forest will cook us. Let's see. I don't think they'll cook you, but I wouldn't mind it being that way around. Oh, just under an hour to go until the deadline. Where's my little... Let me put it in subscriber only mode. You literally have to have subscribed for 1 second to start using the stream again. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you haven't already, please drop a like on this stream. We're really close to 1,000 likes. So thank you all very much for tuning in. We're 25 likes away. Would I play Milenkovic over Kirkes this week? Probably. Milenkovic is different though. But probably. You have 5 free transfers. Should I do Gakpo to Cunha? Yeah, if you need to use a transfer then if you've got 5. Any chance of Palmer getting a rest? With our form, I'd be really surprised. I'd be shocked. We don't have enough players. Enough game weeks to max value with all chips. Assman after triple captain. With all chips left, you could do really well. I'd a wildcard 31, triple captain 32, free hit. Sorry. Wildcard 31, triple captain 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34, assistant manager in the final, in 3 of the final 4 weeks. Valdemarson to Areola and bench Henderson. Yeah, I probably would do that. It helps you for 29 as well. Why Wood over Enzo? Because just the uncertainty of exactly where Enzo is going to play. Are bank transfers saved after the wildcard? Yes. Where will Munoz be at the benching ranking? Pretty high up. He'll be the top defender. Should you do Gakpo to Cunha? I probably would just hold off. I probably would wait until after the FA Cup. Given Cunha will play in that as well. And Gakpo won't. Thoughts on Rogers to Damsgaard? Can't afford him, Burmo. Thoughts on Rogers to Damsgaard? No, I wouldn't go Damsgaard just because you can't afford him, Burmo. Am I really going to captain Chippy Chips? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It's where it is at the moment. Where would I put Dorgu in the benching order? If you've bought Dorgu, I'd put him pretty high up with Ipswich at home this week. Probably above Gabriel. Probably just below Gabriel. My rule of never bench or sell Gabriel is very much on thin ice. Ooh, what's going on there? What's going on there? Jared Bowen has been mass transferred in. He's been... Ooh, I'm rolling away. He's been bought by a lot of people this week. Is the Wood or Enzo bench close? Yes, it is. If I knew Enzo played in the same role he played against Villa, I'd probably put him above Chris Wood. But I think there's enough uncertainty about what system Chelsea will play. FPL Lucha, I would just be cautious. Without Zabani, I do expect Bournemouth to be weaker defensively. Do I think it's a problem to own Clivert and Dango? I don't think it's a problem. They're both good enablers. They're both very good for their price. Their minutes in the future should be absolutely fine. They should both continue to start. Dango might not play up front every game because Evan Nilsson is back, but he should play up there tonight or this week. Yeah, tonight. All things considered, should I bring in Cunha for Pedro? I probably wouldn't force that this week. I'm more of a be cautious this week type person in terms of transfers. If you don't need to force a transfer through, the FA Cup this weekend will tell us a lot, particularly not the results, but particularly the draw, because there's a lot of results that feel slightly more predictable, but the draw will be massively helpful for us. So if in that case, I would just do I'd roll if you can. Can I show data on why I'd pick Palmer over Salah? Sure. Southampton, worst expected goal conceded so far this season. Newcastle, 6th best. Southampton have conceded more shots than anyone in the league. Inside the box. Conceded more total shots. Conceded more shots on target. Have conceded more goals. Have the second most clean sheets. Have conceded 117 big chances. What do I think of Neto for Rodgers? I don't love the punt on Neto, if I'm honest. Personally wouldn't. Sorry. Where's Jimenez on the benching ranking? Probably just below Gakpo or around where Gakpo is. Most people don't own both of them. Salah or Areola for this week in game week 29? Probably Areola. Keep Emery or transfer out? I'd transfer out to a table bonus manager. Enough... Your defenders are Mikalenko, Gabriel, Robinson, Dean, and Greaves. Upgrade Dean to 8 Nori this week or roll. I do Dean to 8 Nori, yeah. a Dean to a Nori. Any chance FPL forget the deadline again and we can see the lineups? You'd hope not. You'd hope not. One sec. 1 second. Pickford or Raya? Probably Pickford. Start Rodgers. Sorry, there was someone in the chat pretending to be Ross's girlfriend saying something about Palmer, and I was just checking with her that I was just checking with Pickle that it is not her. It is a fake account. So that's why I was looking away. Start Kirkes or Robinson. Robinson just. Am I confident Palmer outscores Salah? No. I think it'll be pretty close. I think Salah and Palmer is really close. Sorry, it's throwing me off my my roll. Wood or Clivert or Enzo, choose two. If you're chasing rank, bench Clivert. If you're not, probably and benching Enzo is the boring thing, but definitely play Wood in that scenario. Gakpo playing, he's predicted to, but sorry, Abu, I started answering your question and then bench one of Palmer and Burma, Isak, Wood, Clivert. What? I mean, Clivert has to be. I don't like it, but it's Clivert out of those. Gakpo, Semenyo or Clivert. I'd bench Semenyo and just not play double Bournemouth midfielders probably. Gordon to Bowen for free or roll. In that situation, I'd probably do it. I think there's enough upside in that you might, even if it forces a hit later down the line, you may well get the points back this week for that. Start Rodgers or Woods? Definitely Wood. I'm not even sure Rodgers is going to start for Villa this week. Table bonus manager for this week: Glasner, Postecoglou, or Pereira. If I had to pick, I'd probably go Glasner. Take a hit: Wood for Isak? No. I don't even know which way around that question was meant, but no. Bench one of Bowen and Burma, Clivert, Wood, or Beto. Beto. I know he's on fire, but I'd still bench Beto. Assistant manager Emery to table bonus assistant manager. I'd go, yeah. So the top three are Palace, Spurs, and Wolves. One of those three. You're on the same chip strategy as you, and you have Rodgers. I can bench him, but I would lose value if he drops. Would I sell him? You'd have to bench Clivert. I just take the value loss personally. Right, if he's on your bench, then no. I wouldn't sell Rodgers unless it's to Bowen, but then to bench Clivert, I still don't think I'd do that. Start Dango or Chris Wood. Wood over Dango. There is, again, a little reminder. Let's put the benching ranking up in the top right. We'll keep doing the questions, but if you're looking for benching rankings that haven't been answered, hopefully most of them in the top right-hand side of the stream. Where is Watkins in the benching ranking? Pretty high up. I'd play him over Wood, for example. I'm going to roll my transfer this week again. It'll give me 3 free transfers next week, which I'd be pretty happy with. I might roll again into 28 and take 4 free transfers into 29. It might depend a little bit on what happens with the FA Cup this weekend and how the rest of my players do, right? If Watkins blanks, then Watkins may just go. If Watkins does well, I might keep him. Cunha or Bowen in for the next few game weeks? Answered all stream. Andrew, sorry. I'd rather, I think Cunha is a bigger priority than Bowen. But I'd rather Cunha than Bowen for the next 3. No team news yet. There are a lot of games tonight, but I'm not expecting loads of team news. Munoz not on the benching ranking. That's because he's the highest defender probably on the list. If I had him, I would just play him this week. Alanga's pretty low down. I think the only attacker on that list I wouldn't play over Alanga is Rodgers. Ooh, hang on. Apparently Welbeck has arrived with the Brighton squad. It might just knock João. Yeah, he is back and he looks all right. Interesting. It might be a slight dampener for anyone who's got João Pedro. It's not. That's the only thing on team news that we've got is looks like Welbeck will be in the squad, which isn't great for João Pedro. One exciting stream you have there. Sorry. Back to the questions. So would I play João Pedro or Kluivert? Now, probably Kluivert. I probably wouldn't take the risk. I'll probably move João Pedro down the ranking a little bit. Like I'd move Wood up. I'd probably go that up. I probably would go... Dango. I probably wouldn't take the risk. Now, if I'm honest. I'm going to drop him quite a long way down. Kluivert versus Enzo is right next to each other. It kind of depends on whether you're chasing or not. Cucurella for Hall. I don't mind it. I'd rather rate Nori if I was buying a defender this week. Palmer's been stinky recently. He's not been great, but he's had chances. Is there still a chance that Southampton beat Chelsea tonight? Of course, there's always a chance. Always a chance. Mikalenko to 8 Nori. I'd rather not sell Mikalenko. He's got West Ham at home in the blank. I'd rather sell Greaves up to 8 Nori, for example. How do I approach having all of the defenders against the players you have in my attackers? So basically, my preferred outcome from the games will be no team in the whole league keeps a clean sheet this week and I just get loads of goals. Because I've got to hope for goals for my defenders, really. The goals for my attackers will be more important, basically. It's not ideal, but it's the same for a lot of people this week. There's not many defenders that are highly owned that don't play against an attacker. Out of interest, if you have a defender in your team that doesn't play against a popular attacker, then let me know. Probably the big one is Palace against Rodgers and Watkins. People won't be playing Rodgers and they might not have Watkins. But apart from that, like loads of people will have Robinson. Cunha's really popular. People have Mikalenko and Burma is really popular. Forest Arsenal is very popular again. If you've got Colwill, you've lucked out there. You're home to Southampton. Bournemouth. Yeah, I suppose they've got Bournemouth that they go away to Brighton. So yeah, it's just not a good week for defenders in general. So that's why I'm not that worried. I don't look at it and think there's someone I'm massively missing is basically why I'm not worried. There's not a defender I look at that I'm like, I wish I had them this week. Apart from Aït-Nouri, but even away at Fulham, I don't think that's the end of the world. He would be the one I'd buy if I bought one, but there is a rumour of Howson being a doubt. Not that many people were looking to buy him this week, but I don't really see the account before. But let's wait and see. Let's see if we get anything more before the deadline, because they are the earliest kickoff. Hopefully it's a lie. Hopefully it's not true. Yeah, I've never seen the account before. Yeah. But I've also never seen the account and know it's a lie as well. Yeah. Reece James, if I'm buying a Chelsea defender, it's Cucurella. He also plays much more attacking than Reece James. We have in our mind that Reece James is really attacking. Cucurella is the most attacking Chelsea defender you could buy, and he's more nailed as well. There's no reason to buy Reece James over Cucurella. If you've seen anything on Twitter, by the way, of course, always tag me in it. I'll have my tags up on my phone from now. And if you see anything and you want me to have a look at it, then please do tag me in it. It doesn't, if you post just team screenshot, unfortunately, that's not. I'm just here looking for team news. Kluivert to Bowen or Dango and other for Bowen. I'd rather the Dango and other if the other is a decent transfer that you're happy to make. Who to sell first, Ahmad or Rodgers? I mean, I'd sell Ahmad first. It's called X. It's always Twitter. I should do a poll of that. That's more exciting than the Captaincy poll. Do you call it X or do you call it Twitter? Sig, apologies. If I had Bowen for Ahmad, who would I be benching? Probably Kluivert. Gordon to Mbeumo or Bowen? I'd probably go Bowen. Gabriel Munoz, Cole will want to bench. I think it has to be Gabriel. Gabriel or Colwill. Gabriel, if you're happy with your rank, just bench Colwill because there'll still be good ownership in Arsenal. But I would probably bench Gabriel. Rodgers to Bowen or Mbeumo Rodgers to Palmer Enzo. No Chelsea. I'd rather go Palmer Wanyeri if I'm honest. I don't think I'd buy Enzo there. The source for that Howson is called AFC expletive that I don't want to get demonetized for saying. I don't think that's particularly reliable. So I'm not that worried about that, if I'm honest. Alisson or Areola? Areola. Bruno, Kluivert, Wood, bench 1. Robinson or Howson? Robinson over Howson. Bruno, Kluivert, Wood. I probably would bench Kluivert. I'd play Chris Wood. Bench Gabriel or Colwill. I probably would. Colwill's probably better. If it was me, though, I'm a bit boring and I probably would bench Colwill for Gabriel. Because I hate benching Gabriel. But, yeah. The realistic answer is Colwill's better than Gabriel this week. But if it was me, I'd probably play Gabriel. Is probably the answer. João Pedro, Kluivert, Dango, Semenyo, bench 1. I'd probably bench Dango. Keep an eye on anything on the Brighton team, though, because it does look like Danny Welbeck has arrived with the squad, which might put me off João Pedro starting. Glasner or Pereira? I'd probably go Glasner. Cunha for Watkins for -4 to free up space for Glasner. Cunha for Watkins. You need money for it, but that would presumably mean you're activating the chip this week. I don't think I'd do that. Bowen in for a -4. I don't mind Bowen in for a -4 if it's for Rodgers, depending on who you're forced to bench. If you've got like Rodgers, Ahmad, and you want a -4 Bowen in, yeah, go for it. Depends who you're benching as a result of that transfer, though. Liverpool had 7 XG last year against Newcastle. Yeah, they did. They absolutely put them to the sword. That is true. We can go back to captaincy. So, first thing, if you're chasing rank and you're chasing mini leagues, I'd probably go Palmer. Unless you think your mini league rival is going to go Palmer, then go Salah. But generally chasing, I'd go Palmer. Generally, if you're chasing, I'd go Palmer. If you're not, it's really close. The fixture is definitely better for Palmer. Salah does have history of doing well against Newcastle. But Palmer has definitely got the fixture. It's really close. If you're not chasing, you just have to do what you feel is the better choice. People feel very strongly one way or the other. This doesn't feel like a week to back against Salah, as Hangover says in the chat. That's absolutely fine. Then captain Salah. I'm not chasing, but the point is, if you're chasing, it's definitely Palmer. If you're not chasing, it's a decision. And it's not really something that you should massively think about going either way. But if you're chasing, then it should definitely be on Palmer. Someone saying, let's get Ramsdale. They do concede more goals at home, but even away, they've conceded 3. They conceded a late Ahmad hat-trick, to be fair. They have conceded more at home. You're not wrong, but they're without Harwood Bellis, they're without Bednarek, and they're without Ugachukwu as well. And Chelsea are a bit of a wounded animal. It's really close. I think it's really close. I think both Salah and Palmer will be over 100%. Yes, they will. I expect Salah to be higher, but I don't think there'll be that much in it. I expect 160, 140, probably, something like that. Maybe not quite, like 160, 130. Shall I do Cliver to Bowen and 2 free transfers to get 11 game at 29? No, I wouldn't do Cliver to Bowen. 30 minutes, Salah or Palmer, 30 minutes to go to the deadline to make that final decision. Cunha in for a -4 and bench Cliver or Wood? I don't think I'd do that. I don't know who you're selling as your forward, but I wouldn't sell them for a -4 to bench those two. No. Why is Robinson below Aina even though he's playing Wolves and Aina is playing Arsenal? Because I think Wolves looked very good and I think Arsenal haven't looked good going forward. Yeah, basically. What am I planning on doing with my transfers over the next few weeks? Probably Watkins will go, Ahmad will go, and probably Trent will go before the blank. Kirkez or Aït-Nouri in. Probably Cunha or Marmoush or Haaland. And then a midfielder as well, depending on what money I'm left with. Why do players have stars next to them? I think that's because they're in the team of the season so far. I believe that's why. Team of the week. But Kluivert wasn't in the team of the week. Oh, it's because they're in the team of the season. Interesting. Captaincy percentage this week. I would say Salah's going to be about 160 ownership and Palmer's going to be 135 probably, something like that. Assistant manager took a -4 Glasner from Emery. Yeah, don't mind that. I think Glasner's probably the one I would go with this week. Gakpo. He'll probably start at home to Newcastle. It's not guaranteed, but he probably should, given he came off the bench last week. He might get a bench appearance again, but I would expect he starts. Shall I do Kluivert to Bowen? No, he said that I wouldn't do Kluivert to Bowen. Glasner for free from slot. Yeah, I probably would. João Pedro to Cunha. 2 million in the bank and 4 free transfers. João Pedro to Cunha. I probably would now that we've seen Welbeck arrive with the squad. Now that we've seen Welbeck arrive with the squad, I probably would be more inclined to bench or sell João Pedro. Bowen in for Smith Rowe for -4. Yes, I would do that, yeah. Any important updates you've missed? No, nothing really. Nothing really. Not been that much. Welbeck has been pictured arriving with the Brighton squad. Which dents João Pedro a little bit. Wanyeri would be pretty low down the ranking. He'd definitely be below Gakpo, probably below João Pedro as well. Maybe above Rodgers. Risa to Cunha for a free transfer. No, I don't think I'd be doing that this week. Risa, I know Everton have been good, but it's not something I'd force this week, no. Bringing Cunha on Marmoush. If I had to buy this week, I'd buy Cunha first. Trent to 8 Nori and Rodgers to Bowen. Trent to 8 Nori and Rodgers to Bowen. I don't think I'd do that because Trent's got Southampton at home next week and I would be surprised if you don't want to own that. So no, I wouldn't use Trent as your make way for a lot of those things at the moment. I'd start Fabianski over Kepa. I mean, I'm starting him over Pickford. I expect auto subs for Pickford and for Kluivert, but in the odd chance that Fabianski plays, of course, Ahmad's not going to, right? Why didn't I go Watkins to Cunha? Because I want to wait until after the FA Cup results in case things massively change with the draw. Bench Kluivert or Eze. I'd probably bench Eze. Play Kluivert. Gakpo to Cunha or to Beto. I'd go Cunha if you can. Top one to buy. You said Welbeck's with the squad. Is he confirmed playing? No. We've just seen a video of the Brighton team arriving and Welbeck is part of that. So, do I still have a chance to win FPL this season? I would say not. You need to be at like... I'd say the winner of FPL is already in the top 1k. Basically. Why no Ahmad cap, just in case. The captaincy auto sub is too much for me because let's say Palmer suddenly picked up an injury in the warm-up and you'd be left looking like an idiot. So I'm not doing that. Would I buy Bowen for free for Rodgers if that means you have to bench Semenyo? Yes, I probably would. Where would Diaz be in the benching ranking? Probably with Gakpo. Those two are pretty similar in terms of assets. Rodgers out, get Mbermo or Bowen. I'll probably go Bowen over Mbermo now. Alanga for Kluivert. What? Buy Alanga? I wouldn't use a transfer either way on those two, I don't think. What if Areola gets subbed at half time? I mean, if he gets subbed at half time, he gets subbed at half time. But yeah, I'll take the chance. Is Rodgers out? We don't know. I just predict he doesn't start, but I don't know anything. I don't know any news, but Bowen would be right at the top of my benching ranking. Like, there's no way you're benching Bowen this week. Bowen's top 3 players and attackers in the game this week, behind Palmer and Salah. I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Matoma or Isak? Thanks, Isak. All day. Trent to Kukurea? I wouldn't sell Trent. Nope. Start Dean or Mikalenko. Don't love either of them. Probably Dean, but I don't love either of them. I'd rather find a way to get Nori than play either of them, but yeah. Yeah. What about Fernandes? We'll have amazing fixtures playing the Dublin 33. He's just too expensive. He's just too expensive for me. I can't get to him as well. I don't mind it if you've got luxury money, but I'd rather Bowen. Hall, Williams, or Castagna? Hall, Williams, Castagna. Probably Williams. Coffee has lasted a long time. I have a mug that keeps it warm. It's great. Yeah, it's great. Dango or Gakpo? I would play Dango over Gakpo, yeah. Yeah, chances of moving captain back to Salah. To be honest, I haven't even thought about it really during the stream, which means it's probably going to end up staying on Palmer. I'm not sure at all on the captaincy. As the deadline gets closer, it gets nervous. Would I do Nori in for Robinson or roll the transfer? I'd probably just roll. What's the poll saying? Let's end the poll and redo it again. Captaincy poll. While I do that, there's 8,000 of you and watching and 1,500 likes. Drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. Palmer, Salah, other. One of your transfers used Jorgensen in for Fabianski. I personally wouldn't buy Jorgensen. It's not impossible that if he has a clanger, he'll get dropped again. Jimenez to Cunha or roll the transfer. I probably would roll that this week and take the FA Cup news. In most weeks, I'd say do it, but this week I'd say roll. Rodgers to Bowen or Gakpo to Cunha. You're free at game week 34. Rodgers to Bowen or Gakpo to Cunha. I'd prefer Rodgers to Bowen this week. It feels like it's a bigger upgrade this week. Is Enzo a good option? If you've got him, you play him. I wouldn't recommend buying Enzo, though. We don't know where he's going to play. If he's deep again, you don't want him, even against Southampton. 8 Nori over Gabriel. Probably. That's really close, though. It's really close. There are defenders who are better than Gabriel, but just benching Gabriel doesn't feel particularly comfortable. Like, I just wouldn't want to put myself in a situation where I'm having to bench Gabriel, is probably where I'm at. If you're making a transfer that forces you to bench Gabriel, I probably wouldn't make the transfer. Yeah. You have Dango. I mean, Dango. I don't need to read the rest of it. I'd probably bench Dango, Julian. I did read the rest of it, but Dango would be the one I'd bench there. Would I do Wanyeri to Bowen for a -4? Made the wrong choice. If you're starting Wanyeri this week, yeah, I probably would go to Bowen for a hit. Yeah. In game week 14, they had the reverse fixtures. Palmer got 7 and Salah got 18 against Newcastle. Yep, that is true. I think it's true. It's that week. I think I remember it. I don't know if it was exactly that, but yeah, that's a big swing. That's a big swing. Rogers to Bowen and bench Wood. If you've got money to do it for free, yeah. Bowen in for Kulu. You have 2 retransfers and not free hit 29. Yes. Sell Clive for Kudus. No. Double Liverpool defence or play Howson. I'd probably double Liverpool defence. Why am I not keen on getting Cunha or Bowen? So I can't get Bowen unless I could do Watkins to Cunha and Ahmad to Bowen, and I have looked at that this week. I could do it for free, and I have considered it. I just think that the information is more important for me because I've got assistant manager and I don't know which way my chip strategy is going to go. For me, it's much more I need the information. For people who know they're going to wildcard 31, bench boost 33, free hit 34, you can kind of do a bit more with your transfers this week. But I don't think Watkins is a bad pick this week. I don't particularly want to bench Wood or Cliver, which I'd have to do if I made that double swap. Because if I did that, I'd have a really strong front 8 and I'd have to force to be benched, someone to be benched. So, yeah. If you've got Howson with the news that's going around, I would assume it's fake if you have someone on your bench. I wouldn't force a transfer. But I wouldn't buy Howson new. I wouldn't buy Howson new. Yeah, there's not that much on it, on Howson. But yes. Where are we? Who do I bench? Clivert, Isak, or Mbermo? Clivert, Isak, or Mbermo? Clivert. Did I make a mistake going Enzo over Bowen? I probably would have bought Bowen, if I'm honest, between the two. But if Enzo plays advanced, then he could do well. And he's cheap enough that you can just throw him on your bench. But I probably would go Bowen over Enzo. Sell João Pedro to Cunha and bench Dango. I probably would do that if you can, if you got the money for it, yeah. Ainori in for Castagna or Greaves for free. In for Greaves because Greaves is not useful. At least Castagna might have some use at some point. Verbruggen versus Pickford. I'd play Verbruggen, I think. Am I anticipating Chelsea looking better? I'm hopeful that we look a bit better, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful more than expecting. Mike not on show. Mike is on show. I just pushed it a little bit further away. Thing is, because I move around a lot. When I do a video, like I sit and I record and I don't move and this is there, I'm here. But when I stream, I go forward and back. And I know that every time I hit my mic, it's probably not great audio for you all. So I do tend to push it a little bit further away just so I don't constantly touch it. Because if it's here, I'm always just like... I was going to say something there that was going to get clipped out of her. Dorgu, I don't mind. I definitely go Ainori. Ainori's top defender this week. I am going to the game as well, which doesn't impact my decision making, to be honest. Normally I like to watch stress-free Chelsea games, but I'm now really quiet. Am I? Is it got quieter? Hopefully it's all right. Hopefully it's fine. Kirkes or Hall? I'd play Kirkes over Hall. There's just slight rumours of Howson being a doubt for the game. Would I sell Pedro for Cunha? I probably would, yeah. Because I just don't think Pedro's in their best 11 at the moment. Thinking Kunku starts? Yes, I do. Why not Cunha for Watkins as Watkins blanks in 29? Because that forward spot is the only forward transfer I can make between now and the blank. And it might be that I want Marmoush. It might be that I want Cunha. It might be that I want someone else. So let's see. I'm not sure it's worth me forcing it this week. Basically. They do play tonight though. So do Wolves. I think I have loads of players tonight. I've got one in Bournemouth, one Palace, one Villa, Chelsea captain, only 4. Then I've got Brentford, Everton, Forest, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle. $30 to go until the deadline. Am I going to the game? Let Palmer know we have him captain, please. I'll do my best. I'll shout at him from the stand. Palmer, you're my captain. He won't think I'm weird at all. Any doubts on my captaincy? A lot. As I get close to the deadline, I'm nervous. I am nervous. I don't know whether it's... I just don't know whether it's the right thing to do, but... Like, what is the outcome that I take tonight for me to be comfortable with it? If he scores, I'll take it. Because that means Salah would need a double return, which is very possible. But even a double return is not... If he blanks, then yeah, then we're in trouble. Nervous, but we want to play the game right? Maybe. Maybe. Off to the Bournemouth game. Enjoy. That was really strong. And not very nice. The issue is the last bit of coffee just gets left. And then because it's heated, it slowly boils it down and down into this like concentrate. Because I forgot to turn it off. Why Palmer over Salah captain? So let's do captaincy again. Sorry. Offer is 8 points for Palmer captain. I'd switch. If you told me Palmer scored 8, I'd move it. I feel a Salah goal and an assist is likely, yeah. But I don't... So, back to captaincy. First thing to say is, it's close. It's definitely close. So, captain who you think will score the most points. And if you're certain that it's Salah, then go Salah. And if you're certain it's Palmer, go Palmer. You should always captain the player you think will score the most points that game week. Ownership will be pretty close. I think 160, 130. It will be pretty close. The one you don't captain, you will want them to blank. So there is that. Captain the player you think will score the most points. If you are sat here and you think it's clear and you're shouting at the screen, Harry, it's definitely Salah, or Harry, you've got it right, it's definitely on Palmer, then that's fine. You captain that player. If you're chasing rank, I would urge you to go Palmer. If you're not chasing rank, that's when it's a bit of more of a debate. Do I do Fantasy Challenge? We'll be back doing Fantasy Challenge today, yes. Salah has the better team. He has the better form. But he has the worst fixture. Palmer probably has the more explosive ceiling. But he's been quiet. And Chelsea have been quiet as well. So, take one from that what you want. At the end of the day, you just got a captain who you are most happy with captaining. Just captain who you're most happy with captaining is probably my recommendation. We've just hit 1,990 likes. Thank you all. If we could hit 2,000, that would be great. Subscribe if you're new as we go into the final 10 minutes before the deadline. Who's me captaining? Me, Captain Palmer. Dan go. No, you won't understand. That was a joke from Twitter, and I'm going to move on. Any late moves? Nothing. I think I'm just going to keep it as it is. Wanyeri or Kluivert? Definitely Kluivert. Henderson or Fabianski? I mean, Fabianski, but it's you're probably going to get your auto sub. Why am I starting Ahmad? Just so I get an auto sub. It's just a bit of fun. I appreciate no one finds it funny apart from me. But take out Gakpo for Cunha today. I probably wouldn't force that transfer. Salah got 18 against Newcastle. He missed a penalty and then scored twice and got an assist, I think. You, Ross, Harry, Oscar, all on Palmer. Me and Harry. Wait, me or Harry? You, Ross, Harry, Oscar, all on Palmer. That's 4 people, but me and Harry. Don't worry, Dan. I used it as an excuse to make a joke, which no one in the chat seems to find funny 7 minutes before the deadline. Alan seems to find it funny. I appreciate you. Me and Harry. There we go. There we go. We got it. Captaincy we've kind of done. My general consensus is put the captaincy where you're going to be happiest with. If you definitely think it's Salah, go Salah. If you're chasing rank or you want Palmer, then go Palmer. If you're in a happy place with your rank, then it's pretty close. If you're uncertain and you don't want it to get it wrong, Salah is safer. Salah is safer, I would say. But yeah. If you want players to start or bench, they are in the top right-hand corner. We've had some changes as stuff has come in over the stream. So, like João Pedro has dropped further down the list. So, Semenyo or Cunha in. I definitely play Cunha. Cunha's not on my benching ranking, and Bowen are not on the benching ranking. So, nor is Munoz. So, Cunha, Bowen, Munoz are not on the benching ranking, along with Trent. Because all 4 of those players, if you own them, you should be starting all 4 of those. Cunha, Bowen, Munoz, Trent. Outside of that, Isak over, it's ranked basically. So 1 to 17, 1 being the best, 17 being the worst. I'll put it back up there for you now. Benching ranking is in there. Bournemouth defenders are all grouped into 1. You've got Lewis Hall in there. So bench Kluivert or Wood. I've got Wood above Kluivert in my ranking. Gakpo or Wanyeri, I'd play Gakpo. Beto or Visa, I'd play Visa. Milenkovic or Gabriel, probably Gabriel. Konate or Robinson, probably. If you've got Trent, then I'd want to cover Liverpool defence, so depending on what that means for you. Should you captain Mole Sama? Yeah, I wish we could split captains. That would be an interesting change to the game. 2 50% captains. You could put them on the same player, so I could get 50% of Palmer's points and 50% of Salah's points, or I could put a whole captain on one player. But you should be able to split your captain up into little bits. So I could cut it up into 4. I could cut it up into... That's a stupid idea. All right. Be able to cut it up. I could cut it up into 4, so I could captain Palmer, Salah, Chris Wood, and I'd get a quarter of all their points again. It's a silly idea. All right, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. What's going on Twitter? Anyone got anything more for me? Munoz, Gabriel, Trent, 8 Nuri or Kirkes. That is ranked on the benching ranking. Definitely start Munoz, definitely start Trent, and I'd play 8 Nori over Kirkes and probably Gabriel. Although I wouldn't feel comfortable benching Gabriel. Kirkes or Gabriel, I'd definitely play Gabriel. You lead your mini league by 116, then just try and predict what the people in second are going to do. But probably just, yeah, you're so far ahead with that. Hall or Raul, the attacker. If you're ever uncertain, I'd play the attacker. Glasner or who budget? Yeah, I'd go Glasner or Pereira or Ange are the 3 assistant managers that I'd look at. All have table bonus. Why is Olaraina so high? I don't think there'll be loads of goals in the Forest game, and I think Arsenal's attack has been a little bit stunted recently. You have Ahmad, Rogers, and Clivert. Who to transfers Rogers out for or roll? If you can get to Bowen, go Bowen. If you can't get to Bowen, I'd probably roll. Is Cunha for Wood worth it? I don't think so, as you'll want Wood back in game week 29. Sells or Pickford? I probably would go Sells at home. Yeah. Please change your captain. I'm not going to change my captain. I don't think. Pedro to Cunha for free? Yes, I would. Williams, Mikalenko, Castagna? I'd play Williams. You did Kulu to Bowen. Good move. Yeah, I like that move. Why Fabianski? Just in the off chance he plays against Leicester. Because Leicester are bad. Put Ahmad captain and Palmer vice. I'm not taking the risk that Palmer doesn't play. I'm not even taking that 5% risk. Not even 5. Would I do either Ahmad or Enzo to Bowen or in Burma for this week? I do Ahmad. I wouldn't sell Enzo before Southampton. Ahmad to Bowen I would do, yeah. 90 seconds to change your mind. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not changing my mind. Not changing my mind. Bench Foden or Clivert for Gakpo chasing points. Bench Foden or Clivert for Gakpo. If you're chasing points, then bench Clivert because Foden's a big differential. Keep pressuring me. Don't pressure me. Don't pressure me. Oh, no. Robinson or Kirkhead. So we're going to put the benching ranking back up. It is up in the top right. It will have all of your benching rankings answered in the top right for you. Would I start Pedro or Dango? I'd probably go Dango over Pedro now because of Welbeck. Sells or Fabianski? I'd probably just play Fabianski in case he plays. Dango or Chris Woods? Chris Wood over Dango. Enzo or Dango? I'd probably punt on Enzo. That is going to be we're into the final minute before the deadline. If you need benching rankings, it is in the top right-hand corner now. They are ranked from first is most likely to start to 17th is least likely to start. Bowen is not in it. Munoz is not in it. Cunha is not in it. And Trent are not in it because those four are automatically starting along with Palmer and Salah. We're into the final 30 seconds. Please go and check your team. Lock it all in. That'll be all of the questions that I answer. That will be the deadline by the time that you come round to hear this. Go and check your teams. Go and lock everything in. My team is locked. It's Palmer captain. I just read that like a news reporter. Sign me up in the news. I could do the sports section. I could read the sport. And the results from the weekend were Leicester 0, Brentford 4, Everton 2, Manchester United 2, Arsenal 0, West Ham 1. They forgot again. No, because it's only just gone to the time. They were on it this week. They were right on it. Joel, yes, I would have gone Bowen. It's a bit late for me to see the pigeons. It's a bit dark outside. Right, I shouldn't have refreshed it now because I can't go and look at my team. Anyway, let's have a look at some fantasy challenge. Light match of the day in the 90s. I forgot to change Ahmad. I did it on purpose. I need to post my team as well. Then we'll do fantasy challenge. Then we will do it. So bear with me 1-2 minutes while I just crop the screenshot. Game week 27 team lock hashtag FPL. Transfer rolled. Palmer captain. Let's hope it doesn't swing to. And post there. Then we go to Instagram. Joel, the deadline has just passed. I would have gone Bowen or Cliver if you don't own. Have I seen any pigeons? I'll look out for them. I'll post a picture if I see one when I go to the game. I'm interested to see what the ownership is like when the game updates. Because, yeah. My skiing trip was lovely, thank you. Sorry, I'm just posting it everywhere. I had a very nice time. Always nice to be home, though. Right. Salah 50, Palm 130. Yeah, it's probably gonna be something like that. Right. Players from the assistant manager's club earn double. Hang on. So who am I gonna pick? Assistant manager players earn double. Like, I could go Maresca and pick loads of Chelsea's, but I think I'm not going to. Who has table but surely you're best off like going like Maresca and then like, oh, there's no Chelsea forward though. How many players from a team do I have? Do I have a limit? Do I have a limit of players from a team? Yeah, I'm just going to go. I actually think that going like Chelsea would be the thing to do, but I'm going to go Glasner. In goal, we're going to go Henderson. Then we're going to go with Munoz. We're going to go Eze. And we're going to go Mateta. Does that mean I can't pick any more? Yeah, because the manager counts. Any forwards this week? I don't think we want loads of them. We want loads of midfielders, don't we? Well, we want Salah. We want Palmer. What's the most... Is there a 5 midfielder formation? Yeah, like 3-5-1. Defenders. 8 Nori. And Cucurella. There is a player limit. There is. Look, if I put Salah in, it tells me off. Max 5. Neto. And of course, game week 1 hero, Christopher Nkunku. 29 million budget spare. Mateta, captain. Oh, Bowen. Let's take you out. And let's go Bowen. Bowen. If you ever want to join the leagues for the channel, they are in the description, both for the main league and for the Fantasy Challenge League as well. Yes, we will get team news in. We will get team news from the teams in a moment. We have the ones kicking off at 7:30, so we will get Brighton, Bournemouth, Palace, Villa, Wolves, and Fulham in 8 minutes' time. I went with Palmer and I made no transfers. We're up to 3 transfers this week. Is his FPL ranking the overall ranking? This one, yes. Yeah. Ben, when did you drop me a message? I'll have a look at it. Did I reply? Ben Cannon. Oh, there you go. Got it. I got it, Ben. Everyone went Palmer. A lot, did they? Only FPL Davey. I think General also went Salah. Would I have started Wood over Rodgers? Definitely yes. Just to know, Castagna or Virgil, Aït-Nouri, who is your preferred to bench? I probably would have benched Castagna. Palmer's a bad choice. Potentially. Can I go back and see my team? No. Plan next week will be to wait until after the FA Cup. I might sell Ahmad, I might sell Watkins, but I'd probably say I'd say I'm 60% that I roll, 40% I make a transfer next week. 60% I roll, 30% I sell Ahmad, 10% I sell Watkins. But I suppose there's a combination I do. It's probably not 60% roll. It's probably 50% roll, 20, and then 10 I do a combination of the two. Who's on the watch list? Aït-Nouri, Kirkes, Aït-Nouri, Kirkes, Cunha, Marmoush, Semenyo. Probably the top ones that I imagine I'll look to buy. But let's see how the weekend goes. You never know what throws itself up. And let's see what happens in the FA Cup as well. Let me 1 second. So we have team news in 4 minutes' time. 4 minutes till team news. I am also desperate for the toilet, so I'm going to do that, and when I come back there will be team news. That's why I'm really quiet, because I can't think about much else at the moment. So I'm going to nip to the toilet, and then we'll come back and the team news will be there for you. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. Right. Team news in 3 minutes. Three minutes until team news. Do I think Munoz is a good choice for long term after 29? Yes, after 29. They have Southampton in game week 30. Yes, they do. That's a nice fixture. Am I watching the Champions Trophy? I'm not. I ended up captaining Palmer. I can't get my team up, unfortunately, because I accidentally refreshed the page when it's the deadline, which is a rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Let's see what happens, though. Ben, let me reply. There we go. 2 minutes of the deadline. 2 minutes of team news. Let's see if I've got a screenshot on my phone. I just can't put it up on screen. I could go on Twitter, but 1 minute till team news and then we'll wrap it up there. I only needed a wee. You'll be glad to hear, Adam. Don't worry. Don't you worry. 1 minute. Interested to see what João Pedro. I'm interested to see if Rodgers starts. I could go on FPL.team, couldn't I? Good shout. This is what we went with. Palmer's lineup is not until 7 o'clock. Chelsea are not until 8:15. So the Chelsea team will not be out for another 45 minutes. Jimenez benched. And Iwobi benched. Anthony Robinson benched. Robinson benched. Rotation for Fulham. I also wonder if Dango Atara is at left back. Howson plays, actually. Howson's fine. Kirkes, Cook, Brooks, Christie, Dango, Adams, Cliver. Oh no, Hill as well. Sorry, the team sheet was in a really weird order. Rogers does start. Cunha starts. Nori starts. João Pedro starts with Welbeck on the bench. João Pedro starts. So Villa, Watkins starts. Rogers starts. Cunha starts. João Pedro starts. Verbruggen starts. It's all on Fulham. Robinson benched. Iwobi benched. Raul Jimenez benched as well. Who did they play at the weekend? Who did they play at the weekend? Why is there sudden benching away at Wolves? Fulham in the Cup? Oh, Palace. They're going to try and beat United in the Cup, aren't they? They're going to try and beat United in the Cup. Is what's going to happen. They're gunning for the FA Cup. Interesting. So we're going to wrap the stream up there. Let's see what happens tonight. I just hope Palmer doesn't blank. Just don't blank. And then at least you've got something to fall back on. That's what I hope. I don't need hat tricks. A hat trick would be great, but just don't blank, please. Have something so that the first return from Salah doesn't hurt. I regret. I feel stressed about it now. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Yeah, don't miss a pen. Don't even get me started. Have a lovely evening, everyone. We'll probably be back. We'll probably do another video on Friday morning and then nothing until Tuesday after the FA Cup is probably the plan because we've got a week and a half now until the next deadline. So have a lovely one. Good luck with it. Don't stress about it too much. It will be what it will be. And I will see you all. Yeah, you should have gone for the Wolves manager as your assistant manager. That's true. See you all very soon. Bye.